Well, hello, Luigi Nation. This is your favorite boomer talking. I wear this hat, if you're new to my page, in honor of my son, who's an Army Ranger, serves in regiment. And thank you for all of you out there that serve. Never thought I'd raise a military son. What do I want to talk about tonight? I want to talk about this picture right above me, and I want to talk about specifically what's in that person's hand. You guys probably read all over the news. The mainstream media has been saying all the time that Luigi Mangione was arrested with an untraceable 3D printed ghost GUN. You know, I got to say it like that. And a homemade 3D printed silencer in his bag, among other things. Whew, let's talk about it. The pistol had a metal slide and a plastic handle with a metal threaded barrel. You could see it there maybe a little bit. The pistol had one loaded Glock magazine with 6 9mm FMJ rounds. You know what that means? Full metal jacket bullets and one loose 9mm hollow point round. Now, contrary to popular belief, 3D printed ghost GUNs are actually traceable. Yeah, I know, shocking. Plastic can leave a unique forensic footprint when fashioned into a firearm. These ghost GUNs are weapons created by 3D printer using strands of heated polymer and similar material. Specific plans are then loaded into a computer and sent to the printer, much like we do like a Word document. Everyone knows how to do a Word document and send it to it. A decade ago, plans for the world's first 3D printed GUN were downloaded from the internet more than 100,000 times in just 2 days. Concerns followed on both sides of the GUN control debate that a Pandora box had been opened, one that could lead to new and dangerous methods for producing untraceable firearms. That's not good. A few years back, the U.S. Department of State settled a lawsuit with a Texas-based defense distributor, the company that distributed the first ghost GUN plans, that allowed the firm to release the GUN plans online, touching off a wave of moves and countermoves in the federal courts. Oh, God. Thank God that since then, the U.S. crime labs can positively identify the type of polymer used in the construction of the GUN from flakes or smears of plastics on bullets, cartridge cases, and gunshot residue collected on clothing. You know, gunshot residue. When a gun fires, it leaves residue. Test firings provided samples the pair used to identify all types of polymer in 3D printed GUNSs. They entered the evidence left behind by different polymers into a database for forensic experts who use it to determine whether a 3D printed GUN was ever used in a crime. If a 3D printed GUN was ever used in a specific crime, investigators can determine the type of polymer used and if there's a link between the polymer and the suspect. Whew. Additionally, there are specific databases that provide a second means of identification or grouping of samples, alleviating the need for subjective interpretation of the mass spectral peaks, fingerprinting protocols on surfaces of 3D printed GUNSs are also published. Now, overall, it has been demonstrated countless times that those methods are particularly very effective for investigating crimes involving 3D printed GUNSs. Now, let's get back to this case. Luigi's case is a different story. Why? The receiver section is the only part that is a 3D printed. The top part of the Glock 19 that was found in Luigi's possession is still not a 3D plastic polymer. The Glock 19 9mm is usually made from a standard carbon steel barrel, 4150 CMV steel for the duty series and a 416R stainless steel for the match series to exact. My son serves in the Army. He has lots of them. Ugh. Anyhow, Altoona police officer Christy Wasser, badge number 250, found a semi-automatic pistol with what appeared to be a 3D printed loaded receiver with a metal slide and a silencer during Luigi's possession during the arrest in Altoona. This means the bullet matching forensics are done with a barrel and the bullet, the markings left on the projectile from the rifling of the firearm is one way to forensically link the firearm to the crime. But the markings made on the shell casings by the firing pin, extractor, and breech face of the firearm could also link the firearm to the crime through the National Integrated Ballistics Identification Network, NIBIN. I'm amazed I know that. Commercially manufactured firearms sold in the U.S. are required to have unique markings that allow law enforcement agencies through the ATF to trace a firearm used in a crime to a purchaser. Now, the term ghost GUN is not a law enforcement term. It's a term that was coined primarily because they're made, or PMFs, to include 3D printed firearms, do not have those unique markings. It is a term that is often used to evoke emotion, but that does not belay the fact that PMFs cannot be traced to an individual by law enforcement. Identifying the firearm used in a crime is crucial, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. Law enforcement uses other investigative tools to develop crime GUN intelligence that is used to connect the crime GUN to the shooter. Whew. Now, the legal challenges. While a positive ballistic test is extremely significant, Luigi's Mangione's defense team could still try to challenge the evidence collection process or the accuracy of the testing. So stay tuned tomorrow as we dive further into the trial talk. Not bad for the boomer, right?